program is so beautiful because what it is everyday people doing consistent things, showing up for them and being there for them. That makes a world of difference to the kids. I think in Wisconsin, it's about 20% truancy rate right now.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it was 12%, I think, before the pandemic.
All right, what's up, everyone? It's the It's Your Neighbor podcast. It's me, Monty, and my co-host, Anthony Alvarado.
How you guys doing? Good to be back.
So today we have an amazing, awesome organization. A lot of people are familiar with it, and an amazing guest as well, Monica McClure. That's hard to say.
It is.
Good morning.
Yeah, I shouldn't have changed my name when I got married.
You should. Well, I didn't even get through Monica. So Monica McClure from Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northeast Wisconsin. Monica, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, so we have some really cool stuff we're going to talk about today, and it looks like we're going to be working together quite a bit here over the next few months. So
yeah, some fun projects.
It's going to be pretty cool. So tell us a little bit. Obviously, Big Brothers Big Sisters, amazing organization. For those who aren't 100% sure of what Big Brothers Big Sisters is, tell us a little bit about what it is.
Yeah, so Big Brothers Big Sisters is a youth mentoring organization. So we do one-to-one youth mentoring, and we've actually been in Green Bay for 52 years.
Wow.
So our mission is to ignite the potential in all children. So when people think of Big Brothers Big Sisters, you typically think of our traditional like community-based mentoring. So I'm a community-based mentor to my little, and I've been with her for 9 years. So kind of how that works is that I work with her parents to figure out times to pick her up and go out in the community with her and mentor. And we have specific things that we're working on together. So right now she needs to be a little bit more invested in school and doing her homework and prioritizing school versus, focusing on some of her extracurriculars that she loves to do. She needs to get good grades to do the extracurriculars.
How old is she?
She's about to be 14.
Okay.
Nice.
So, yeah. So when I first met her, she was 5.
Okay.
So
All
now
right.
she
Now
has her
early
own cell
teens,
phone.
right?
Yeah. So it's interesting. A little bit
Yeah.
different. It's funny because when I started, I was like, I want to go like roller skating. I want to go to the wildlife sanctuary and all these fun like kid things. And now she doesn't want to do that stuff, but I do.
Yeah.
Like she wants to go
Yes.
shopping, which I love shopping too, but it's a little bit different when they get older.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Even as a parent, I mean, my kid's getting older. I mean, it just changes, right?
Yeah.
I always love that sweet, like that between that like 6 to, let's say 10-ish. They want to do everything with
Yeah.
you, and then a little bit later, a little bit more independent, kind of finding their way, right?
Yeah, and they start telling you no. Like,
Yes.
they don't want to do this thing anymore, but they'll go to the mall or Dave & Buster's. But she's a great kid.
Yeah.
She's doing really well. She's got great parents. She just needs a little extra support.
And I love what I was checking out your Facebook page this morning, as I was saying when you first got here, and it was amazing to see all the activities you have, not just from mentorship, but to community activation, to representatives stopping by,
Yes,
to mentors beyond the Green Bay area, just shining light on the work that you're doing. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, thank you.
How did you get involved? Like, what was it that, you're obviously in a pretty important position now at Big Brothers Big Sisters, but how did you get started with Big Brothers Big Sisters?
Yeah, so interesting story. So I graduated from UWGB in 2011, and then I went into the nonprofit sector, and eventually I transitioned to St. Norbert College for employment, and I definitely missed the like frontline charity work, working with kids. That's what I'm passionate about. And it was really interesting. I had a friend that worked for CASA, which is Court-Appointed Special Advocates. Okay. And I had a couple days left at my nonprofit job before going to SNC, and I was in Kavarna, and I saw her ordering coffee, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to sign up and do that program.
Yeah.
So then I became a CASA advocate, which is a very long training process, but I was invested. And so I met my little through CASA, actually. So I represented her in court for 2 years. And then when her case closed, we transitioned to Big Brothers Big Sisters together, and we've been together ever since. So I really felt like I was supposed to be at Big Brothers Big Sisters. So my time at SNC really helped me develop some skills, especially in fundraising. And then I had this deep passion for Big Brothers Big Sisters. And, I know that I'm there for my little, but she has definitely been a huge part of my life. So she's been with me through like getting engaged, getting married. She's come to my wedding. She's been with me through all of my big moments. So she's done a lot for me too. So there's that reciprocal piece to the program, but that's what's gotten me to Big Brothers Big Sisters. So love the organization. Couldn't be more passionate about it.
Yeah.
It seems like every time I've connected with any leadership at Big Brothers Big Sisters, in Northeast Wisconsin or Appleton or all across Wisconsin, you have this passionate leadership group that really does care about the young people that you're serving. And often it seems like that service leads to an opportunity to become part of the team, right?
Yeah.
Like you were just explaining. That's really exciting. So what does the team look like today?
Yeah, so we have 16 employees. So we do cover all of Northeast Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So we have core area Brown County. There's a higher population in Brown County. So most of the kiddos we serve are in Brown County. Most of our staff are in Brown County. We have a staff member in Door County, and she coordinates our Door County program. And then we have Shawano County as well. We serve about... We're going to serve about 580 kids this year in 2024.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So,
that's a lot of kiddos.
Yeah, it's a lot of kiddos for like 16 employees.
That's what I was
Yeah.
It's like you work in the schools in some senses.
Yeah,
right?
we do. And we also
Absolutely.
provide mentoring in the school. So some of our mentors go
So
into
they go
the
actually
school.
go in the school.
And they
That's
mentor
awesome.
during like lunch or recess.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So, I mean, obviously, that like the cause is awesome, but how do you guys safeguard, with this day and age, right? Like there's a
Sure,
lot of like the
yeah.
first thing I thought of is of 584 kids. That's amazing. And then, we have so much online predatory type things that, it's even hard to get that out and say that. But it's like, how do you guys protect
Yeah.
the littles when a big comes along kind of
Yeah, child safety is always our number one priority. So we do have a 5-layer like background check and reference checks that possible volunteers have to go through. So you have to do an in-person interview. You do the layered background check. We do reference checks. We have to do a home visit for you if you're in our community-based program.
That makes sense.
So all those different background checks. And then we case manage those matches through the duration of their match.
Sure.
So
It's like random stops and checks and
yeah,
things
so
like that.
so we case manage the match. So we check in with the big, the little, and the parents.
Yep.
So we do also have safety questions that we ask to the littles just to make sure everything's going okay. The littles can't go to a big's house within the first 3 months.
Okay.
So once that is established, then they can go visit in the home. But, we have really great volunteers. We also case manage. We keep our eyes on them, and we do that 5-layer background check.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it is a safe program.
That's good. Let's move past the creeper stuff.
Yeah.
I was curious, so. But that's, I think, important
Yeah.
for people to understand. Like,
This is a safe program, and of course that's important. I work with young people with my nonprofit, and of course there's layers of protection there, as we focus on mental health. But either way, mentorship. Can you talk a little bit about the power of that mentorship once those relationships are established?
Yeah. I mean, having an additional positive role model in a child's life is insanely productive. It creates more resiliency in children. Every kiddo in our program is different. So, we do have specific demographics of people that sign their kiddos up. We have a lot of single-parent households, a lot of financial hardship, but we also have physicians that have signed their kiddos up because they're moving to the area and they need help adapting to like Greater Green Bay.
Sure.
So there's a wide variety of needs
Yep.
within our pool. And so we strategically match the little with the big that we think will be best for them. So it's just having that additional role model is super important. So when we look at outcomes for our programs, that additional role model usually helps with a lot of emotional regulation. So a lot of kids today are struggling with that. So that's one of the big outcomes. School connectedness is also really important. It's astonishing when I started at Big Brothers Big Sisters, learning how many kids are not going to school. Like that astounds me. I think in Wisconsin, it's about 20% truancy rate right now.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it was 12%, I think, before the pandemic. So we have a lot of kids that just aren't going to class, aren't going to school. So that mentor is another positive influence that is telling this individual, okay, you need to go to school. You want to play football when you go to high school. Well, you have to go to school to do that. You have to get good grades.
Right.
That positive reminder. Even just some of our mentors even go as far as to working with counselors in school to help decide plans for the kiddos. So those are a lot of the positive outcomes. Youth mental health is also a huge influence within our program. So a lot of kids that join our program suffer from depression, social anxiety, suicidal thoughts. So we're actually tooling our mentors as youth mental health first aid responders.
No kidding.
So you
that's actually really
probably
impressive. Yeah, absolutely.
have a lot of knowledge in this area.
Yeah.
So we're part of a group called Teams Changing Minds. So our part in that is to be youth mental health first aid responders, which is basically CPR for youth mental health.
Okay.
So we're teaching our bigs and parents signs that a youth may be in crisis. So like when I went through the training, I was very surprised because some of the signs almost reminded me of an unruly teenager kind of. But it helps you distinguish signs that they could be going down a bad path and that intervention method.
And those protective factors are so important. I mean, we talk about it from developing strong coping skills, to developing healthy habits.
Yeah.
Of course, that leads to could potentially lead to a more positive mental health outcome, but it's a case-by-case situation. You have to meet these young people where they're at individually, right? So it's not a one approach fixes all, but mentorship, at least for what my experience has been as a certified coach and being alongside of these young people, helping them to develop a plan based off of their own intuition and interest. And what that does, at least from what I've seen with mentorship, it empowers them to really take accountability, and also they know that they're not alone. I think ultimately young people, that's what they want to know, is that they have an ability to tap into this safe place and be seen and be heard and ultimately be loved and be a part of the community. And mentorship provides that additional layer that I think young people are desperately searching for. When I speak to young people, like I was in front of 1,200 students last week, they ultimately got to a place where they were saying, we know that there's problems in the community. We know mental health is important, but we don't know where to go when we need help. And when we do ask for the help, often we don't receive it because it isn't available. So the work that you're doing, I imagine, is not only life-changing, but also life-saving.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, we need a layer approach to it. We just had a mom talk to one of our case managers the other day, and so this little guy is on our wait list, and he kind of is in a city where we don't have a lot of mentors. So he's been waiting a while for a big brother.
What town?
I don't know.
Right? You like put me on the spot. You're like, oh man.
I was gonna say, like, if anybody's watching from that town,
I don't know. He is in Brown County.
Okay,
I
cool.
think he might be kind of on East Green Bay. We have a lot of mentors in De Pere and Howard, but like the east side of Green Bay, we need more mentors for sure.
Well, it's not that far. So if you're in De Pere or that area, take a little drive.
Yeah, we have a lot more boys waiting than girls.
Interesting.
Because we don't. Sometimes we'll do cross-gender matches, but really that's not really what we do. It's usually same gender matches. So
I'm hearing that the men need to step up.
Men to step up.
Yeah,
And,
we need some guys.
Actually, when my son was growing up, there was a moment that there was a connection in Appleton with a big brother, and having him as a little, and it was ultimately a transitionary move. It was a move to the Appleton area. It was big for him. So to get to know the community, of course, there was a connection to the Boys and Girls Club and the YMCA, which is awesome. But be able to have somebody alongside him, it was a temporary thing for about 6 months, but they were able to connect and build a relationship. And also, he was able to learn like what else is going on in Appleton. And they were able to do some activities together, which was really great during that period of his life. Yeah.
That's really what it is. Like, our program is so beautiful because what it is everyday people doing consistent things. Kids need consistency. I know you both know that. It's someone consistently showing up for them and being there for them. That makes a world of difference to the kids.
Yeah. And that also is important as we get older, too, is just to be able to have that relationship with somebody that you can trust and that you can go to. So
it's cool. You know what's cool is I'm like not in the weeds with all this, but you're out speaking about mental health to large groups of kids at
middle school,
times,
high school.
You're taking more of the individual one-on-one approach, and I think that's huge. Like, that's kudos to both of you for all of that, because it is a huge thing. And I think the other thing that you had brought up was, the layered approach and then setting a plan for the kids, but you're giving them an outlook and something to grasp at too long term. I think that's everybody needs those, right? Like as an athlete growing up, you learn about goals and you learn about those types of, like, there's a future for you, even though in reality, and if you're looking at sports, it's like this big to do anything past the age of 20 or 18, and then this big if you're going even past 22, your sports career is over. But for a lot of people, it's like, okay, what do I identify? Where's my identity? And I think that's that age where they think they need to have an identity. In reality, it's like you're not going to figure out who you are until you're like 40.
And ultimately, we need other people around us to help navigate those interesting paths and turns in our life, right? And
there's so much pressure on people thinking what somebody should be, then versus allowing them to figure out who they're going to be and work on those individual traits and character building skills that should be taught early on. Instead, they're like the instant gratification world of, I need to have everything figured out by the time I graduate high school.
Well, I love the approach that you all are taking. And to Monty's point, it's kind of breaking down that public perception. Look, you're going into spaces that typically leaders in our community, adults, stakeholders, it's hard to approach young people that are in need, right? Especially when it has to do with heavy stigma-related topics of mental health. You talked about substance use. You talked about suicide. Those aren't easy discussions, but they are happening in our community, right? So when I think about like QPR training, right? Suicide prevention method, like that is another ultimate kind of a peer-led approach that we can take to empower our community members to be part of the solution and not just look at said organization or program to be the fix-all. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What's the biggest, I mean, aside from just being able to I would imagine like the hardest part is finding the right person for, the little.
Yeah.
What's, aside from that, what's the hardest challenge that you guys have right now to?
Yeah, I mean, we do have a wait list of 100 kids. So you're right. Like, we are always looking for mentors. So the wait time is about 6 to 8 months for kiddos. So always looking for mentors.
Let's step up. Yeah. Let's step up.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, what kind of programs can we sign up for today?
Yeah. We're also completely community funded. So we don't get any state funding or federal funding. So all of our funding comes from the community, private foundations, special events, corporate partners. We have a really awesome golf outing coming up in June at Thornberry Creek.
I would assume we're probably involved in that, right, Rob?
There we go.
Yes, there we are. That's the approval.
I would imagine Lisa would have messaged us on that already.
It's a very fun golf outing. I know you guys are fun to golf with. Yeah. We also have a big giving campaign. So Brown County Give Big Green Bay is on the 21st.
Cool.
So we're holding a fundraising initiative here, and we're going to bring a dunk tank in thanks to a donation from Four-Way. We're using their dunk tank, and we're having our board members step up, and they have fundraising initiatives. If they reach $2,000, they'll get dunked and things like that.
So how many people are going to be here that day?
Oh,
partially for me planning, but also
how many people are getting dunked?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have hopefully like 50 people coming in and out. Hopefully,
cool.
That'll be really awesome. So we'll start prepping for that a little bit harder. We're gonna have our whole working on getting our floors done and everything.
I know it's going to look so good. Those guys are doing a great job out there.
Yeah, one of our board members, Kim Vachon, is very excited. She's having a hot dog bar. She's going to bring a hot dog bar in.
Let's go.
And so I was thinking more of like a Bloody Mary bar.
Do that too.
So yeah, I think we should do both.
We
hot
can do
dogs
that.
and Bloody Marys.
We'll do that. We'll line it up.
That's awesome. Yeah. What are some other great things that are happening this year that you're really excited about?
Yeah, so we have Give Big Green Bay. We have a really cool initiative with Breakthrough Fuel U.S. Venture and Howell Elementary School.
Okay.
We actually just started this program. I'm really, really excited about it. Howell Elementary School is a Title I school in downtown Green Bay.
Yep.
Wonderful educational space. And then we have this great employer, Breakthrough U.S. Venture, in our area. So they've funded in a workplace mentoring initiative. So we bus 18 kiddos from Howell Elementary School to the U.S. Venture building by the stadium. And if you've never been in that building, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I have not been there yet, but
it looks amazing.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. So a lot of these kiddos, so we interview the kids too before we put them in the program. A lot of the kids had never crossed the river. the Fox
kidding.
River. So they're
kidding.
so going on a bus,
Yeah.
crossing the river and going to
That's
US
crazy to
Venture.
me.
Right?
It's just the little things that you don't think about. And it's that different experience that really kind of breaks that cycle of poverty for them, getting them
Sure.
out of what they know, telling them that, hey, this is someplace that you could work in the future. This is someone who has a great job at Breakthrough Fuel, works in this beautiful building.
That's cool.
They use the bevy machine, they get all the snacks there. So just exposing them to that different atmosphere is really important. And we couldn't do that without a corporate partner like Breakthrough Fuel.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm always encouraging young people to get out and experience the world around you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And there's so much untapped potential here in Green Bay. I know the last episode, we talked a lot about that. There's so many things here in the local community that people don't generally know about, right? And so what a great opportunity to get out there and experience some of that together,
Yeah.
right? That's really cool.
Wait, you guys have another event coming up, the draft, right?
We do. Yes, I should have
I
talked
was-
about the draft.
All right.
That's what you were egging me on, right?
Yes.
I was calling it the kid draft, but that sounds terrible.
yes.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
How does this
The
work?
big draft,
The
right?
big draft.
The big
Big
draft,
draft.
literally.
So the kids get to draft the bigs.
Yeah.
Kind
Right?
of.
Kind of,
You're
yeah.
getting there. So the NFL. So we partner with the NFL. We're an NFL Inspire Change partner.
Cool.
So what that means is that they help us coordinate something called the Big Draft. So when the draft for the NFL is happening, Big Brothers Big Sisters is drafting the next team of mentors for the kids
Yeah,
on
yeah.
our wait
What?
list.
That's no way. That's cool.
It sounds so terrible.
Yeah.
the other way around.
Yeah, so we have a lot of good Packer partners. Sean Clifford, the
Love it.
second string quarterback,
Let's
he was
go.
actually a big in college or high school. So he's been part of Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Yeah, his speech was really good at the fundraiser this year.
Yeah, so
Nice.
he's been amazing. So we call it the Big Night Out. It's a gala in October. We have an Alumni Hall of Fame where we honor 2 alumni matches. And Sean attended our event this past October, and he was so amazing. He didn't need a script. He just talked about his love for Big Brothers Big Sisters, the impact that it made on his life, his little's life. And he's been a really great advocate. So we're hoping to get him involved
That's cool.
in
I like that.
this. We do have a lot of Packer alums that come to our draft events. We're going to be holding a party here at
Yeah,
Take Action.
That's right.
It's not going to have a dunk tank, but we're going to try to do a tailgate party for our
Yep.
matches.
Yes.
So we're trying to recruit a roster of bigs. So that's 52, 53 players.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. See where you're going.
Okay.
53, the 53
I see what's happening here.
Yep. So, we're great at marketing.
Yes,
Love
yes. I love it.
Yeah.
Well,
I
that'll
love
be
it.
fun. I'm sure Kevin would love to get involved as well. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak for him, but I'll just tell him he's got to
Yeah.
work that day. And
And all 3 of us really. Every
Yeah.
time that you get 3 of us together, and you have somebody like yourself come in and say, "Well, you could work in the community with young people." We have such a passion.
We love
I mean,
doing that.
Kevin's been working with young people in the Pulaski School District.
he was doing
for a
special
while,
education and
right?
mentorship in Pulaski schools and Howard Swamico schools.
And then you, from a coaching perspective, were also involved.
Well, I did that, and I'm also involved with the GRIT program.
Exactly.
And helping with kids and differing abilities and things like that. I volunteer my time every other week and that sort of thing. So we love doing that. So as soon as they said, well, the draft is like my favorite night of the year. I love the NFL
Yeah.
draft. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll nerd out on that with Kevin maybe the week before. Maybe we'll just start a separate
Right.
draft podcast. I don't know, but I love the NFL draft. So, to be able to combine that now with a community event and do it, in this vision, in this dream that we've all created here at 1300 North Kemp's Court. And be
Another
able to
full
do
circle moment.
another
Right?
full circle.
That's right.
And to be able to do it in our garage and just get it ready. Like, I love the fact that you guys are doing events here because it pushes us to finish projects.
Yeah.
And
So thank you for the motivation.
yeah, thanks for the motivation. And it's also a way for us to continue to give back and
Yeah.
do and showcase what we do, not only as realtors and a real estate company, but like what we're trying to do to give back to the community and drive that synergy,
Yeah.
that circle that's on our logo means a lot more now than it did 6-7 months ago when we opened.
And to be able to highlight, I mean, this is a great podcast. And when this comes out, we'll be able to highlight exactly what you're doing. And I think that's really exciting. And being able to work alongside you and do these events together this year to ultimately support the next generation of leaders, what better way to collaborate as a community organization with somebody that has the resources to support you guys along your journey as well. So we appreciate you.
Yeah, well, thank you for helping us and hosting those events.
Oh, no, it's great. And I know Rob's got some really cool ideas about what to do in the garage, and this big TV idea, I think we got to execute on that now since he showed it to me. So he's over there shaking his head a little bit. But I love it. So how can somebody get involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters? Where do they go
you just
to
have
become a big men? Step up. We need
Yes,
some men.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, you just have to go to our website. So it's bbbsnew.org. You fill out a quick, very short application with just like your basic information, and then we contact you to give you the rundown of expectations, and then we can move you through, do background checks and an interview. You know, I always tell people, because sometimes I think there's a fear. We ask for a year-long commitment.
Okay.
Because we don't want someone to come into a child's life and then leave.
Right.
Yeah.
So we want them to have time together. And I think there's also that fear, one, of the time frame, and also what sort of impact or guidance can they give a kid.
Okay.
That you can give so much to a child by just being there. And you don't have to plan these elaborate outings. Like, sometimes I just take my little to Target with me. Like, you can incorporate them into your life. You don't have to make your life separate for them. Incorporate them into your life. Make it easy.
Yeah.
That's
so
all you have
important
to
know,
do.
though. I
Well,
mean,
100%. I mean, I don't have kids, but I mentored my godson. My godson's father left and abandoned him, basically, like moved to New Mexico for no reason, just whatever. And so he was struggling. Now, his aunt and uncle stepped up in a huge way and were awesome, but I was that guy, that sports guy, and all that other stuff. And so I've already indirectly been a big, not without that title.
I hear that.
And just, the impact for him
Yeah.
and to see him, get through all the things he had to do. And I was just a soundboard for him. When he was mad, I'd let him sound off,
Yeah.
So
But you were his person.
I was.
Yeah.
And I was, and I wasn't judgmental
key.
either. And
That's
I
it
just
right
like,
there.
So it was like, hey, he struggled with playing time with his coach. And so I'm a coach, it's like, okay, this is the reason why. Like, I'm not going to go yell at your coaches to say you need to play more. I'm just going to tell you, work so hard that they have to play you. And it didn't always work out, but
Sure.
there were times, and he was good enough to play, and I do feel like his coaches didn't allow him to, but I wasn't going to be that person that like goes and choose a coach.
But you
out.
believed in him. I mean, I can't
100%.
think. There's so many times in my life where somebody was like, "I believe in you," and how important it is, whether it's a job, relationship, etc. And you were able to do that.
Well, and he's still, he's 21, and he struggles with certain things, and I'll get a text message every once in a while, and he's at that age where he's too prideful to ask for help in certain situations. And I'm like,
That's
dude,
like
just reach out.
everybody.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's hard to ask for help, right?
Yeah. I mean, once you get used to asking for help, if you do it in a good way,
Yeah.
like, and pay people, then
Yeah.
it helps.
Yeah, that helps.
So, but gratitude's huge, right?
Yeah.
So, like, and it'll come back. It always, that full circle stuff that we talk about is, give, and, you'll get back so much. And I think for a big, like, they're going to see that, one, they're going to learn, like, about themselves, right? Like, what kind of person what kind of role model am I going to be? And if you're looking to be even a slightly little bit better person, go mentor a child.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, you're going to start, teaching better habits, and you're going to also become better because you're going to portray that it's easy when you're by yourself to be a screw off. But
There's like some own personal accountability,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And you got to kind of walk the walk,
And you should be intentional about it.
Exactly.
Too. Like intentional
Authentic is important, right? And so the big call to action, mentorship, you also have this great initiative to go out and do these events this year. Yeah. Is there anything that's there that, that you want to share about that you haven't shared about yet?
What about like corporate companies like that? I think that's something we haven't discussed yet too much is how can a company get involved? Like,
yeah.
Like, obviously monetary is great,
yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah, but we like to have holistic relationships with individuals and companies. So we'll actually work with like some companies, and so Imperial Supplies is really close to Howe Elementary School. So we're working with them to see if they're doing going to allow like 10 individuals to mentor during the day. So they can just walk to Howe Elementary School and mentor. We're working with Paper Transport. They have that downtown location. Fort Howard Elementary is right next door. Can they just go on their lunch break and mentor at Fort Howard? So we like to have that holistic relationship where we're getting your employees involved and they're helping the community. They're more tied into what's going on, connected to the community and serving kiddos. So we can definitely have that relationship. It's not just about sponsorships, which, we still need. So.
Right. Sponsorships, donations, absolutely, right? And so companies can get involved to support you. Website again?
BBBSNEW.org.
Awesome.
3 B's and an S.
Yep.
And we'll put that in the
A lot of
links, of
letters in
course.
there. We'll have that right here. Like, follow, give BBBS.
And you're on all the platforms and everything. And if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
My contact's on the website.
Okay, cool.
And then we're part of Good Big Green Bay. So if you want to participate, any dollar amount helps us. I know there's a special $5,000 gift to the agency that gets the most unique donors. So $10 gifts would also really help us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And they can come to the event. Anybody can come to the event next week?
Yeah. Yeah, you can stop by anytime from like 8 to 8, I think.
8 to 8 now?
No, I could be wrong.
We'll have to put the details
I thought it was
in.
noon to
I'm totally wrong.
I thought it was like 4 to 8. Then I was told it was noon to 8. Now it's 8 to 8.
It's actually
We're
all
ready
week.
for it. We'll be ready for
You're
you.
totally right. Yeah, noon to 8.
Noon to
Cool.
8.
Yeah.
Yeah, so stop. You can stop here at Take Action Realty Group, 1300 North Kemp's Court, just to check it out. I think you can probably dunk somebody if you want,
Yeah, I
or
can
get
make a
dunked, I guess,
donation.
maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I might get dunked.
You want to get dunked?
I don't know. Maybe. I haven't done it for a long time,
I heard the water is going to be warm.
Well,
No.
I should put ice in it.
Like, do we really want to tell people it's going to be warm?
That's true. It's like getting dropped into a hot bath.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be like a sauna or a hot tub, No, it's going to be ice cold.
Ice cold.
Yeah, just like the ice pods,
Ice cold.
Well, thank you
We
so
don't want
much
water out there,
for
though.
being here today. I mean, we were really excited about the interview. Of course, we're partnering this year, and this is not going to be the last conversation we have, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So we love having you on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll probably have you back before the big draft.
Yeah, and
think
that'll
that'd
be
be
really
cool.
fun.
And if we can get like some alumni in,
Yeah.
that would be really cool.
If that would be great.
Yeah.
Because I do think people listen to Packer players and
yeah.
alumni, and if you hear from them how important mentorship is.
Yeah.
And there's so many little guys, too, that look up to football players, especially in Green Bay. I also want them
Bring
to
some littles
know
in.
that.
Oh, that would be
Yeah.
fun too.
Yeah. I think it's good for them to hear, too, that, they always aspire to be players.
Yeah.
But there are other avenues that they can go down, like what you were talking about earlier. There's
Exactly.
different positions.
Yeah.
So we'll see you again
Yeah.
this
We'll see you next
year.
Wednesday for sure.
And next Wednesday
Wednesday
for
in a
sure.
Noon
dunking.
to 8. Take Action Realty Group
Yes.
headquarters.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Monica.
Guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, that's a wrap.
That was so nice.
That's a good one.
Great.